What's up? I'm Matty Marshall here with Chris Catt and Brandon Cornell from the Los Angeles Ironmen. Just found out that we had Chris Catt back in town. He's a San Diego native, but came down to do some drills with Brandon, so was able to run over here and catch him, you know, doing a little lunch on Pacific Coast Highway here in Oceanside, not too far from Camp Pendleton Paintball Park. So while we have this, you know, chance to catch up with you guys, you guys got a really cool story going right now. You know, you just came off of the first NXL event. Losing Marcelo, and you guys played great, man. You know, I mean, you guys made it all the way to the quarterfinals. You lost to Houston Heat by 1 point in a really low-scoring game. It was 2-1, and so, you know, we're not too far removed from the next NXL event. And I think based on the performance that you guys just had, it's kind of a great kind of quintessential underdog story going on right now. It's a legendary team, and the Ironmen been around for over 2 decades and has won many world titles, but it's been a long time since you guys have, you know, sat at the top of the sport.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, but with this new young team, what I saw at that event, you know, that you always talk about that gumption, that heart, you know, all those paintball cliches that it takes to go out there and play against the best. But it was a really impressive performance. I mean, that game against Heat was super close. It could have gone either way. So, you know, while we had the chance to just kind of, you know, eat some lunch and catch up with you guys, I wanted to kind of check in and see what the mindset of the team is right now with, you know, 2 more tournaments to go in the season. So, you know, CC, why don't we start with you? I mean, what was it like at that event? You know, I mean, you guys looked really good. It seemed like you guys are getting deep. You had a lot of guys step up, and the team was starting to look like, you know, when Royalty merged with the Ironmen, you guys had all these younger players come up. It was like, oh, man, there's so much promise with these young guys. But, you know, that was always the question with the younger teams, as we see with like 187 right now, how they're getting deep and starting to get really good. It's like, when is it going to happen? What is it going to take? Produce, exactly. So, you know, what are your thoughts on that?
You know, you talked about stepping up, and you have to get the opportunity to step up. And, you know, we lost a lot of we lost A-Rod in the offseason, we lost Alex Goldman in the offseason, we lost Marcelo after the first event, and those people played a lot. And I think with losing those 3 players, it gave other players the chance to step up and prove themselves. I mean, a lot of players getting more points. Brandon, I mean, a year ago, or even a year and a half ago when he joined the team, I mean, he was on a 10-man roster getting, you know, every 5th point or every 4th point. In this last tournament, he was playing almost every single point. And I think when players get that sort of opportunity, you know, if they have the skill set and they're mentally ready, they're going to rise to that call and they're going to do well. You know, I think Danny Ibarra, Jason, everyone's getting, you know, Brandon's getting a lot more points. We have Danny Nealon. We have Jerry Caro over on the Snake. I mean, he's playing phenomenal, and that kid has a ton of work ethic. But those sorts of players, you know, wouldn't necessarily get the opportunity to step up unless given the chance. So, I mean, yeah, we lost Marcelo, we lose Mouse, we lose A-Rod, and we come into that event looking like a young team. But ultimately, we all believe in each other. I think it's the biggest thing. Like, I believe in Brandon. Even if someone sees us as, you know, rookies, young kids, our average age is probably in the 20s or something, early 20s, like 21 or.
You got a couple guys under 20.
Yeah.
You're under 20. You just graduated high school. You're 22, but you're like one of the more seasoned guys on the team now. You know, I mean, you've been on the Ironman. I know you took a little break in college and life stuff going on, but you've been around kind of at the top level as this kind of, you know, we're like, oh, who's that? Who's that little dude running down the Drinos killing everybody? Oh, his name's Cece. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. You know, I mean, that was, I think, 4 or 5 years ago now.
It was a while ago. Yeah, I think this is my 6th season in professional paintball, but it's been, you know, here and there. I started in 2010 and then now in 2015.
So you've seen a lot of these changes kind of with this same team. And were you part of the original Royalty crew, or?
I was not part of the original Royalty crew. I played on a Velocity Wrecking crew with Eric Humphreys and all those guys originally. I kind of came into the Royalty thing once it was already going a little bit, and then joined up and played the semi-pro season with them.
Yeah. And so now that you've seen so many changes and you're seeing these young guys get reps, but everyone's been there at one point in time. You know, you've been that young guy sitting on the bench, begging to get a chance to get just waiting to get that spin so you can go in there and prove yourself. But actually getting out there and do it, and then having multiple guys do it at the same time, that's the tough thing. That's always the question. But, you know, when we were talking on the way over here and you were saying how, you know, yeah, people may have been saying that, okay, yeah, they lost all these stars and, you know, these guys are pretty much untested, but you guys, you were telling me how you didn't lose faith. You guys always felt like you were going to come.
We all believed in each other that we were all stars, and we're like, oh, well, now we get a chance to prove that we're stars.
Yeah, we're going to show everybody.
Yeah, now we get to go beat everyone and show that we all are stars. So it's kind of a cool thing.
Yeah, and so Brandon, you know, you had also a tragic thing. Well, I mean, it's not like anybody died or anything, but you know, but your shoulder died.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, your shoulder died. But you know, I mean, you and it was a crazy point in Dallas when you dislocated your shoulder, couldn't go back in. You played the whole point with it out of the socket.
Yeah.
And we covered that a little bit before, but you know, I mean, how was that mentally trying to come back from an injury like that, where they literally had to take you to the hospital, put your shoulder back in, and then because it was out so long, and then you had to rehab it, but you were able to make it back for the next event. So that was another question was, you know, you were starting to get really good, and everyone was starting to be like, oh, dude, Brandon Cornell, he's a killer, and then you get hurt, and then we didn't even know.
Well, I think for me, leading into that event, I had put so much in on the off season that I was really ready to play, and then getting hurt. After I got hurt, I just realized I needed to put in way more effort than where I was, because I was here, and after I got hurt, I dropped way down. So I started, after 3 weeks, the doctors cleared me to play. I couldn't slide or anything. I still really can't. And so I started playing like 4 times a week, started just grinding. And so I wanted to be better than I was at the previous event. And I think Marcello leaving, honestly, kind of helped. It definitely gave me a drive. And because he was one of my boys, he still is, but I think that helped push me to really step up, and like with CC and these guys who are my really good friends, just try to take this team to the next level.
Yeah, and I think also too, it seemed, you know, performance is obviously at the team level a team event, but it's so personal, you know. I mean, you have to go out there and you have to personally step up and perform. No one's going to help you do that. So to lose Marcello, maybe that did light a fire under you, where you're like, look, no one's going to do this.
Exactly.
I have to go out there and I have to play the best game that I can, shoot as many people as I can, stay alive, and help the team.
I think a lot of times, too, with Marcello, we were able to just count on him. Like, that was the same thing with Mouse and A-Rod. You could go to your bunker and you could rely on these people to go down and kill 4 guys. I mean, they're great players. And so without them, it was more of a team aspect. And I think you saw that after Dallas going into this last NXL. I think we played a lot more as a team. Even, like, during some of the games, like, it might be on, I don't know if Dave Pando caught it or not, but a lot of times people are saying, like, we're playing as a team. A lot of times the communication's way better, and if you watch as people play together, you can tell that we're comfortable playing together.
Well, and you guys weren't scared to make moves. You guys were pulling out some really close points. You guys were doing the things you needed to do to win a paintball tournament, and it was not surprising in the sense that we didn't think that the team was capable of that, but I thought it would take a little bit longer, you know, to kind of get all those pieces to coalesce at the same time. And, you know, I mean, you guys still did lose that game, but, you know, talk me through, what were you thinking in that Heat game? I mean, that was
Well, the first point was like 12 minutes.
So it was the longest point of the
worst thing was people were helping us fill the pods, and they overfilled a few of them, and I poured in a broken pod, like, right away. So I have my rotor apart, the R2. I'm, like, trying to get it back together, put it together, have to shoot, like, 4 pods just to get to shoot straight. I'm in the Dorito, and Brinikoff is in the Snake 50, and I have Mishka in the Dorito 1 and Moorhead wide. And so I was just trying to live. Toke made a great move and actually bunkered the Snake guy, and he engaged in a gun battle with Thomas, and he ended up getting shot, and I think that kind of let open the game. And so that was like the first mistake we made, and that cost us that point, and then it came down to a long point. I traired Moorhead 2-on-2, and we just lost it. And then the next point, it was a huge mistake on our part. Came down to a 2-on-1, and then I think Paxton got shot, kind of sloppy, and then I lost a 1-on-1, which is unacceptable. I should have won that, and I know that's been pushing me. So I think we're at that point now where we beat the teams that we should, and I think we're at the point where we just need to we're right at the top 4. Like, we need to push through that, and it's just the small mistakes that we make that the experienced players don't. I think that's what we need to. We can't make those mistakes anymore.
Yeah. So, CC, as far as the next event is concerned, you know, it seemed like a lot of guys were getting reps. I mean, you have your core dudes that get their reps in certain positions, but what is the mindset of the team training to get ready for this next event?
As far as training, we're just really focusing on team play, I guess, because we've realized, I mean, it's always been known, it's not a huge secret, that if you do something by yourself, it's good. You know, you can go break open a game. But if you do something as a team and you're on the same page as your teammate and you're doing something together with your teammate, it's way stronger. So our mindset's really team play. I mean, even if we don't know where one body is, a 5-on-3, maybe just slow it down. Like, we're the 5, they're the 3, but we don't know where one is. Maybe just slow it down, find the body, make sure we know every single variable going on so we can close games and just play really consistently. And I think that's one of the things that we need to do is we have these bursts and these moments where we play really well and players play really well and we play as a team. To win a tournament, you have to put the whole thing together and not make any mistakes and be aware of all the variables the whole time.
Or cut down on the mistakes as much as possible.
Yeah, not make any mistakes. That's everyone's going to make mistakes.
Let's
every
fight
team,
through those mistakes.
Let's fight through those mistakes.
Yeah, but that's where the depth comes in. But that's what was that's what's getting scary about teams like 187. You know, is that when those guys first came up, we were only calling 1 or 2 of their names on a regular basis.
Yeah.
You know, it was Dan Zaleski, Nick Laval, who's now on Impact, and Max Trailer. That was it. First year. Yeah. 80% of the time anything happened, for the most part, it was those 3 guys. But now they have a slew of dudes that are getting it done. And that's what I started to see on your team. And as far as when guys are watching, kind of just break down real quick the different sides in the field and who's playing where, because you do have a lot of these younger guys out there, but they're playing at a level that they need to get more reps to see how good they can get. But that's what's going to make your team scary in the long run is the depth. That's what makes any team scary. I mean, if you're only playing against a team that has, a handful of good dudes, if those guys have an off day, then it's not good, and it's going to be really, easier to beat that team. But that's what I started to say out of you guys. That, to me, was one of the big questions is, are they going to be able to get enough of these young guys to get their game to the level where they can compete? And the answer at the last event was yes. Enough of the guys did step up and get to that level where you can compete. But now it's like, who do you feel is in the best position right now as far as training or skill level to, on each side of the field? Like, who's going to be the starting one, you think, on the Snake side for you guys?
Starting one on the Snake side, I mean, Jerry and Jason are definitely our 2 Snake guys over there. Jerry's our newer guy.
Jason Vidalich and Jerry Caro.
Yeah, Jason Vidalich and Jerry Caro. Jason's been with a while. Jason has quite a bit of experience. He played with San Francisco Explicit way back in the day, which a lot of people don't know. And he's a quiet guy, but he has experience, and he knows what's going on. And he's solid, so he'll be stepping up on the Snake side. And then Jerry Caro, kid's work ethic is just beyond anything. He's out at the local high school or college running upstairs, running on the track, doing sprints, doing ladders. And he's out at the field during the week doing drills, and he's out there on the weekend putting that effort in. So he'll be over on the Snake side doing well. I mean, we have our middle guys, Paxton's playing. Paxton played amazing in the center last.
He played so good in that last event.
Yeah, just so consistent, shooting people, doing his job. And
I remember when I saw that layout, I'm like, man, if Mike steps up this weekend, Ironman got shot.
Yep.
Yeah, and he did. He was shooting lots of guys. He was holding it down.
Yeah, dude. Pax is, he's the older guy on our team, and he's playing a lot of points as the older guy, and he has that kind of captain figure to us out on the field. He's kind of the field captain. And
he could beat up everybody on the team. So
oh, yeah.
That always
we could beat any team, even though we're the smallest team. I think we could take any team in a fight. So what we would do is Paxton would just start fighting people, and then we would slowly like 5 of us would jump on one guy and grab him and tie him up. Then Paxton would run over and just kind of bop that guy in the face a few times.
It's so funny. I was sitting with the infamous after Impact won the first NXL event. And I was sitting after everything was winding down, and I'm walking off the site, and I see Infamous just all sitting there in the VIP, just getting hammered, because they lost. And I walk up to him, and Damian Ryan is saying the same thing. He was like, "We should just go over there and team fight him right now. I think we'd take him." Yeah. But so center, obviously you got Shane to put back there as well too.
Yeah, we got Shaner back there.
But then what about on that D side? You guys had been kind of the dynamic duo even last year. I know Marcelo obviously held it down on the D side too. But you also have a little bit more depth on that side now.
Yeah, we have Danny Nealon. We picked up Danny Nealon. He came over from Royalty. Great player, solid. We've kind of been throwing him everywhere on the front, and everywhere we throw him, he's doing pretty well. I mean, throw him on the Snake side, does pretty well. Throw him on the Dorito side, does pretty well. What I love about the kid is he's just open ears all the time. I mean, he's, always, what can I do better? Not like, I thought that was, He's just always asking, what can I do better? What could I have, even if we win the point, go smashing a team. Oh, at this point, should I look this way? Should I have done that?
Let me ask you this. As far as these younger guys, Neil and Caro, are these guys that are mentally tough? And I know they're still pretty young, but I've seen this a lot in younger teams that are coming up, younger players that are coming up, is that sometimes a lot of people honking out here, man.
Yeah, they're just honking at us or something. Who knows?
They see the microphone and the camera, and it's
just
like,
kinda,
what's going on over there? is that that's something that sometimes takes more time to develop. You know, where you get shot off the break, kind of let it get to you a little bit, or you just kind of get beat up mentally, beat yourself up mentally in those situations.
We'll have to kind of see where that develops. I mean, Jerry's got quite a few reps, and I mean, if you get shot off the break, he's just gonna go back there again. I don't think anything of it. Danny Nealon got probably 5 or 6 spins the last tournament. Didn't get a lot of points in a row, but when he got put in, he definitely stepped up and answered the call. But I think it's kind of what you were talking about earlier, is the depth of our lineup. And when you put people in that are your 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th guy, and you put them in and they step up, you're like, yes, hell yeah, that's awesome, good for us.
Yeah, because not only does it give you a rest, so you don't have to keep your 5 studs out there the entire time, draining them the entire tournament, but also gives you that mental boost too. Like, yeah, we just put our
like, I don't have to win the point, or he doesn't have to win the point. We can count on.
We were up 1, now we're up 2. We're not going back there evened up, and you're like, oh god, all right, here we go again.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it's a huge mental boost both for those guys and also for the rest of the team too, to have that depth. And it was really cool to see. I'm really looking forward to seeing how you guys do at the next event.
Yeah,
so
us too.
Yeah, it's going to be good, man. Is everyone making everybody healthy? I mean, obviously your shoulder. Everyone's healthy.
Yeah, everyone's doing pretty well. I think we're good. I think we're good on health-wise.
Are you guys hoping for a more aggressive layout? Because that one was, you guys did well on it, and it was pretty relatively conservative, tactical. Anytime we look like it's going to be slow, that's why I always use the word tactical. But do you guys want a more aggressive layout, or would you rather have a layout that's a little bit more diverse?
I don't know. You want to answer this one, B?
Sure. I think for the most part, usually people on our team hope for an aggressive layout. I think this past layout kind of changed people's minds. I don't think most people care as much for the layout. I think we'll do well on whatever field we play. But I would like to play in an aggressive layout.
Yeah. Well, if you can play... look at teams like the smart teams, Dynasty. The teams, when I say smart, I mean guys that have that high paintball IQ, because they've been doing it a long time. It's if you have a layout like that, it's actually easier for you to go farther in the tournament, because it's going to be easier for you to beat those teams that can't play that style of ball. But typically the younger teams will favor those aggressive layouts because that's more their bread and butter. Put guys in and go. But I would like to see a more aggressive layout just because it's more fun to watch.
Yeah.
But I'd also like to see you guys put in that situation, because you do have a bunch of hyper aggressive guys, which is what Shane is known to breed. I mean, yeah, when I was on the team, it was like, die going forward, baby, come on, man, you can't die in your spot. It was just constant.
Hasn't changed.
It hasn't changed. No. Same thing. Yeah, I figured. But that was always good though, because you can't teach aggression. So if you build that into a person's mind ahead of time, you can. It's a lot easier to rein it back than it is to dial it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Well. Yeah, I wish you guys best of luck.
Yeah,
it's good you guys see you guys down here grinding early. I know you guys are going on some crazy backpacking trip, and on the way over here we were telling crazy backpacking stories. So try to stay alive. If you have to stitch up any of your friends' wounds, just be careful. Blood test first, you know what I'm saying? All right, boys. Well, hey, again, best of luck, and can't wait to see you guys at the next NXL event.
Thank you, Matty.
Thanks, guys.